Hi everyone, welcome on back. My name is Jean. Today we are going to make a little Christmas decor. I am going to be making some of these for Christmas gifts this year, so I thought I would bring you along. See what I'm doing. Okay, so we all have papers like this that have the big scene on them. And these are just regular, this is Memory Place. This one's from Reminiscence. This one's from Mente. All these, that have these huge scenes on. You can't make really cards out of them. I mean, you can kind of cut pieces out of them. But we are going to make a wall hanging out of them. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. I'll just show you some of the different designs I have. So you can pretty much use anything. I'll pick one. We'll just use this one. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to cut. We are going to be using this ring from Dollar Tree. So this wooden bead ring, let's get this tag off because it's annoying. And we are going to be making kind of like a wreath out of this, a wall hanging wreath out of this. So this is a 10-inch wreath. So you can use your Cricut however you need to do this. Sometimes I think it takes more time to pull that Cricut out than, even though it's set up right there across from me, but to get it all set up than to do everything by hand. Now, originally, I thought I could just use a little chipboard backing. So this is just the back of a paper pad. Wasn't heavy enough, so it just warped. And then I thought about using my heavy-duty chipboard that I have that I use for my albums and stuff. Problem with that is a lot of you guys don't have a way to cut those. So I'm trying to do things that you guys can easily do without having a machine and all that stuff. So I came up with something else. We're still going to need to use this. On Amazon, they had these wood circles that are supposed to be 10 inches, and I was a little disappointed because they weren't exactly 10 inches, but we're going to fix that. The picture shows, they even have the measurement things, and it shows 10 inches, but it's about 9 3/4. So I made it work. We're going to do it. But these were only, there were a pack of 20 for only $20. So they're only $1 a piece. And then I can use the leftovers for other things. My daughter can use them for her X-Tool machine, stuff like that. So we're going to use one of these as our backer piece. So we'll take that. This will be eventually going on top of here. But we have a couple steps to do before we get to that point. And magically, I have exactly 10-inch plate in my cupboard. So that works out. And the first thing we're going to do is we will start with our ring. We're going to cut our things out first. So I'm going to place the ring to capture what I want. And I'm going to be looking, I'm looking more in the camera because I can see better in the camera. So I'm just going to be using the ring to kind of capture, I got my good ones all cut out, so I'm not going to be too picky about this. And it's, you can't really draw around here because of this bumpy thing. So it's just as easy. All I have to do is hold this up a little bit, slide this plate to match, and we're good to go. So we're going to take that and move that aside. Okay. You can adjust it if you think it moved a little bit. Where's my pencil? And then all we're going to do is we're going to draw around that. And then while I have this plate here, I'm going to draw this because now I'm still going to need some kind of backing because this piece is too short, depressing. Now, I don't know, you guys can take the chance if you see another 10-inch. They had lots of 10-inch circles on there. If you want to take a chance of buying something else, this works just fine also. So I'm just going to go with this. And then all we would do would be to cut these out. And I'm just going to quickly cut them out. So they're not going to be pretty because I already have the other parts to work with. So then we'll just cut it out along the lines. So not to be perfect. Because if we waited for all this to dry and everything, we'd be here, for hours. So I got steps prepared here. Whoop. Shortened that one up a little bit. But that's okay. Like I said, this is not the one I'm going to be using for the main part. Okay, and then of course we'll need to cut our chipboard. Oh, and this is, like I said, this is just from the backing of a paper pad. We're just going to cut that out. because I need something that's 10 inches now. Because the wood is not 10 inches, I need to make a 10-inch circle to work with here. Like watching paint dry, right? Get some of that cut off. It's kind of getting in my way. Any kind of, like, you could even use like a thick weight cardstock for this instead of this, because now we don't really care for the strength of it. All I do is I need a base. I need a 10-inch base. So now this will get glued onto this, and you can see I didn't cut perfect, but I'm not going to worry about it because that's not what I'm using. And eventually this will go on the back of this. And see what I mean by the fact that this is not a 10-inch circle, but it's still just fine. There's going to be about a 1/4 inch all the way around, but it still works just fine. So then the next step we would do, and is I like to use this pH neutral, the PVA. It's like a bookbinding glue, because I'm going to spread it on so that I get an even layer, so that you don't see like glue lines through here. So that's what I like to do. So I'm just going to do a little bit because we're, of course, you know, not gluing this one down. So I would normally just dump it on. And then I would just take in with a bigger brush, but I have my little one here, so I'm using that. And then all I would do is spread it out really well. Cover the whole back, of course. I'm just doing a little section just to show you guys. So we're just going to cover that, and we're going to pretend it's all covered, and we are going to put that on and glue that down. Now, I would cover it with a bunch of heavy books until it's totally dry. Okay, so let's put that aside. And I have one here. And see, I have the backing on, and you can see how warped it is. So there's not enough strength in that. Even when I went and put this on top, it did not flatten it enough. And I held this down, you know, with book covers and everything, and it's still warped. So it'll look like that. Okay. So then what we would do is I would take and do the same process. Now this, because it's cardboard here, you can use your regular glue if you want, because the lines aren't going to show through there either way. It doesn't matter. So I used my art glitter glue, which is still upstairs. So we're going to use, oh, maybe I can get this one here to work. And I didn't even spread this out either after I put it on. Let's see if I got enough in here. My good one's upstairs because I'm working on yet another project. So all I did was go around, put my glue on, pretend I did a good job. Don't go too close to the edge because you can put it right on the wood instead. And then again, I put my backer on, and then I weighted it down with books and let it sit. Okay. That would be my process there. Okay, then we have this. Put that one out of the way. Then we have this. So you can see, and we have our board on the back. So this whole project, one of these boards is a little over $1. The ring is $1.25. So we're at $2 1/4 for this project. And then the piece of paper is what? $1, depending. I think I got it on sale for $1.25-ish on sale. And that's because I had to buy some single sheets because I had not too many left that I wanted to make for Christmas presents. So I bought single sheets, but they're usually found in your paper packs and stuff like that. So, you know, it might be $1/4 a piece. You know, so this whole project with all the embellishments we're going to put on is still probably like under $4, you know, if that, to make. No, we're not even near done yet, guys. So don't get too excited yet. We're not near done. So we have what looks like this. We have our sturdy board on. You can paint the back if you want. You can put a piece of paper over the top if you want. Cardstock you can glue on. Whatever you want. I haven't decided if I'm going to do anything on the back of mine yet, or if I'm going to just kind of write on the back. I haven't decided. Depends on who I give it to. I got one. I know that's going to my sister, and a good friend is going to get one. So we're at this point. So then I just painted my, I had my paper right here. I had my lovely little paper right there, but we'll use this. Okay, so then all I did was paint my wreath. Any color you want to match the paper. Of course, this one here is already painted. I painted it white, and I left it kind of distressed. You can see kind of where there's some spots missing. You can fill in as much as you want, but I wanted it more distressed. And I did brush. You guys can do, if you don't want to do it with a brush, then do it with a spray paint if you want, but the brush is fine. I'm just going to put a little paint back here just to demonstrate how I painted this on. I mean, it took nothing to do this. It didn't take me that long at all. And I just, like I said, I just went all the way around. I even painted that little metal piece right there, the metal wire. And I just went all the way around. And like I said, I ended up putting one full coat on. So I did one side first. I went all the way around, did one side, and got in between. Just kind of take your brush and go in between. And then after that dried, I flipped it over and then did the other side. And then I did the back side, same thing. And then I let it thoroughly dried. And then if there was some spots I wanted to touch up, I touched up. So do that any way you want to do that. Spray paint, hand paint. You know, I don't like the smell of spray paint. And, you know, if it gets too cold in Wisconsin, it's a little hard to paint outside too much. All right, so we're at this point then. Okay, so we're at this point. So now all we're going to do is we're going to glue down this to our project here. So I want this along the top, open wire along top. You can put it on the bottom, but I'm going to be covering it with ribbon, so I want it on top. On this one it wouldn't have mattered because this one I'm putting flowers. The other one I want to show you some samples at the end that I got ribbons, so then I want it at top. So all mine I'm just doing at the top just to, make sure. So then all I did is take my glue gun. I'm using a hot glue for this, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put a layer. Now I don't go all the way around because, glue dries really fast. And so then I just got it started and positioned it on. Hold my picture. Positioned it on, kind of let it dry. And then I just take my glue gun and you can still get under there enough. This is hard to do on camera, but you can lift it enough just to get under there. You could probably use regular glue too, but this dries quicker. So then I just go around, put a bead down under there, and move along, okay? Until you get my final project, which is this one. Okay, so you can see I got the wood on. Now it's nice and sturdy. And this is my pattern I'm going with. Now to decorate this one, we are not going to use no ribbon, but I have these flowers for this one. So I got 2 packs of them. I think this year's, I think these are this year's, 2025. So we are going to use these flowers. And now you can use bigger flowers, smaller flowers, whatever you want. So I'm just going to kind of position. I'm going to put 3. I'm going to be putting 3 up here. And I'm going to do the same thing here. And I think I'll do the same thing on this side. So let's see what we like here. So first, we'll put our middle one down. I have my good glue gun. I don't know where it went in this house. If anyone could tell me. Oh, wait. First thing I wanted to do, actually, before you put that one down, is let's put our ribbon down. It's right here. Now, this is, I painted this one pink, a real light pink. There's a lot of pink in this picture, so I painted it pink to bring out all that pink. Okay. So, I thought to bring out some more of the red because I'm going to be doing some red here, too. I only had a dark pink, so I'm going to use this red ribbon that matches almost perfectly for my hanger. And I don't do nothing fancy for my hanger. I'm just going to cut a length. I like to keep mine cut longer. That way they can cut it down for wherever they want it hung. So this is probably 30 inches about. And then I'm just going to take it and run it underneath here. And we are going to tie a knot in it. Make sure I have it straight. Turn it. Make sure it's not tangled. There we go. And I'm just going to tie a knot in the top of it. You can put a hanger on, any kind of hanger you want. I like doing this. And it's easy for them to cut down if they don't want it hanging too far down. Then I'm just going to bring my knot to the back. And this will be my hanger then. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down. And then I'm going to tuck it under a little bit so it doesn't hang up. So then, let's get back to what I was doing, because I almost screwed up. So then, I don't want to put my glue, get out of there, on here, on the ribbon, in case they want to shorten the ribbon. So I'm going to put a little dab of glue here, and a little dab of glue. Me, I hate glue. I hate hot glue. I would be using my regular glue to put these down. Okay, we're going to put that one right in the middle. Then we can go ahead and put a little dab on the back of these ones. And I'm going to kind of just tuck it just under a little bit like that. And then we're going to take another one. We're going to kind of tuck that one. And get a hold of the little leaf there, because I don't want that little. Okay. You in there. Okay, we have those three. Let me bring it down maybe just a little bit yet. Okay, I can bring it back when we show later. So we got 3 on top. Let's do the 3 down here also. And I know this would be my middle. And we want to do the white again. Now here I can just do it on the back because I don't have no ribbon up there. So we just put a little dabble-do-ya. And my middle is right here. And I got red paint on my finger, I see. That's normal. Okay. Oops, I got back out of camera. Sorry, guys. Okay. Take these are from Hobby Lobby. These flowers, as everybody probably knows by now. Tuck that one just a little bit under. Another red one. And I'm going to tuck that one under. Let me see if I can get some of the red paint off so you guys don't think I'm bleeding. Hold, please. All right. Now, let's see if we want to do the same along the side. I think so, though. Okay, so let's turn it. And we're gonna just kind of guess where our middle is. And that looks pretty good right on that one. And I'm going to have to open my other pack because I will need a couple more red out of here. Now you can put bigger flowers. I want my beaded wreath to show. So I didn't want to cover it all with bigger flowers because I want it to show. I mean, the beaded wreath is, you know, decoration in itself. Let's see. Let's see, right? I think I figured right about here. Hard to do. Well, now I'm not far. I'm too far up. I'm either too far down, too far up. Tuck this one under. Just a little bit. Okay, so we have that so far. We're going to do the other side. So we have it on the 3 sides. Okay, let's do this side. And the white one first. This hot glue getting stuck in my paint that I have over here. Let me move all this So don't get it all over everything. Okay. Clean up, Jean. Got it all over my hot glue gun. Okay. You know, that's the thing when you're making projects, you get awful messy. And this looks like half. Let's put this one in. Like I said, there's so many different things. There wasn't a lot. I could not find a lot of tinier flowers. So there's so many big flowers out there. And I don't want the big flowers. So I was struggling to find flowers. All right, move you up there. So this is what we got. Okay, let's bring you a little bit more down so you can see the whole thing. So this is what we got so far. Now, it has this star here. And I had, and I don't have the other one down here, but I have these, they're flatbacks. Star flatbacks, but I don't like the color, of course. So I took my the Nicety acrylic markers, and this one is a real light pink. I did one silver, one pink. I did not know what I wanted at first. There's a silver, and then I think I really like the pink better because there's all the pink. So I think we're going to glue the pink down. I'll give you a more close-up look when we get this down. And that star had fit perfect. And these work so nice on, you can go ahead and change the color of any of your flat backs. Okay, so we're going to put that on there. Get a little bit of glue on there. This is why I don't like hot glue. I hate stringies. Okay, push that down on there. Okay. This one's a more non-traditional colors. So I kind of did a couple different, you know. And then I really liked this wreath here, okay? So I had found this wreath in my stash, which is also a flat back. So this one, the bow, I had the bow upside down. So we're going to put that right over the door one, like that, just to give some dimension going on. We want to try to get dimension if we can. And let's put a couple of dots on without burning my fingers. And straighten the bow out. About there. Okay. You see the wreath there. Just to give it more, a little bit more dimension. Now, on this one, I don't know if I'm going to do the fake snow, but I did on another one. I'm going to show you how I do that process. But for now, I think I'm going to leave this one more simple. I know that the one person I'm giving it to doesn't like a lot of bling and all that stuff. I may add some fake snow to it later, but for right now, I think I like this one. But let's show you my other samples then. If I can get all this out of our way. All right, so then I did this one, and now I put a bow on. If anyone wants a tutorial, I'm not the best bow maker, but if anyone wants a tutorial on that bow, let me know. And then I didn't put no flowers around this. I just put the bow on top. Did the same thing. And then this one I put, you can see just a little sequence for the snow. And then I had a gold button. It's a button. And I put that on top of the tree. And then you can see that I have red, the red gemmies, the crystal ones on the tree. They already had red spots on the tree. I just covered them up. And then I had a different wreath, a smaller wreath. And I put that on the door. And then this one I did not do the snow on. So I think I'm going to leave this one like that too. I might do a little bit with the icicles later. But so that one. And then so let me push this back here because otherwise I'm going to be messing up my project there. And then this one. So this was the closest to a light blue ribbon I could find anywhere. So this bow I made a little bit bigger because I glued it down. I kind of, you know, ruffled it up and then glued it down so that it would stay. Even though it is a wire one, I wanted to make sure it kind of stayed and looked that way. So you can see my bow. And then this one I had snowflake sequence, and I put a little clear crystal in the middle. And I don't know if you can see this one. This is all fake snow here, which I'm going to show you the process in just a second. And then here, and I got a little bit on the rooftops that I put a little bit on. So that one I had the fake snow. So let's see if you can kind of see what that looks like from a distance. So there's like 3 different, and they're all the same. They have the wood on the back. And then this snow is really easy to do. Let's do on, what do we want to do it on? Let's do it on this one we were working with here. No, that's not going to show as good. So I need to do more on here. Put another layer. Which one? Let's do this one. I think we'll do the rooftop on this. Like this little, there's a lot of snow right here. So all I use is, I love Snow Tech. And we're going to bring it down as close as I can here. Right, we're going to do this piece. So bring you in. I love Snow Tech. So it's kind of like gritty feeling. So it's got, you know, there's grit to it. And it doesn't puff up like some of them where you got to use heat and puff up. This one, you kind of make the texture yourself by how many layers you put on. But it's so easy to do. Don't mind my messy hands now, okay? So all you do is take a brush. So any kind of paintbrush. And then all I'm going to do is dip in it. We're just going to dab it on. And I know it's going to be hard to show you guys. If I can maybe go on an angle, and I'll just dab it on, okay? So I'm just going to pick some up, put it on my brush. Doesn't matter how much, because, you know, you can move it around. And then I just like to dab it on. Don't worry about putting a big layer on the first time out. Because like I said, you can build it up. I can get a hold of it. It slides right off the brush. So don't worry, like if you get thicker in some areas. I'm just going to go along. This stuff, I forgot how much it is. I'll link it though, but I forgot how much it was. But I'll definitely be linking it for you guys. And we want a little bit over here back in this section. I didn't get. And then that's the look you get. You can see that it's already, you know, I got texture just from dabbing it. I'm not going to do the crystals because I think I'm going to do crystals and something else later on. But, and then I'll do a little bit down here into this area. We'll put some down in there. Trying to show you the best way I can. And I'll go through and do this a little more later with my little smaller brush. But I'll just do that much for now so you guys can see, and then we'll decide later on. So you can see the snow down there. So it really looks good in person. Let me get this one back up. So you really, and it just adds some nice dimension, fairly easy dimension. Add some nice dimension. You can do much more with this. You can add more decoration. You can I could have cut out these windows ahead of time and put like maybe a yellow vellum behind it to look like they're lit up. I would have did every window. I would have just did a few of them. It look like it's lit up. And add the snowflakes on. There wasn't a whole lot to this. I could add some like pieces in there. I have some buttons that are like snowman, deer, and all that stuff. I can add all that on if you want. You can do whatever you want. This one here with the bowl, let me bring it back down again. You know, just from, I don't know if I have the paper. Let me see if I have just the paper here. Before and after. Yes, I have this one before and after. So this is the before of this wreath. So that's the before, and that is the after. Isn't that so easy? And under, you know, $4, you know, definitely under $5, a little bit more down. You know, but like I said, it was only $1 for the wood piece. And you can find, there's so many wood pieces on there. You can get thinner ones, but you know, I got the thicker one so we can use it. She can use it on her X toolbox and stuff, her X tool and all that stuff. Because I knew we'd have extra. And so you can get, or you can you can cut your own chipboard if you want to cut heavy chipboard in your, you know, cutting machine. But you know how, if you've ever cut chipboard or wood in your Cricut, you know how fast that dulls your blade. So I try not to even do that road anymore. And I could have had her cut me wood off of the X tool, but you guys don't have an X tool. So I want to get, every time I do a project, I try to do it with things that you guys can get a hold of. So yes, I could have had her cut me some circles off of the X tool, but that doesn't help you guys whatsoever. So do I have, what's the other one? Do I have the other one before and after? Not that one. Here, this one. And I don't have the one. So then this was the other one. And you can see I just cut out. And this is the after of the one we just did together. So the before, after. Just by adding a little embellishments on. I'm just trying to, I should better set it down. Just by adding a little embellishments. This one we did flowers. This one we did the ribbon. You know, that's up to you. We got the little, I'm going to add, I got my, my glitter pen thing. I'm going to put glitter on that when I can find it. It's in this house somewhere. Here's the thing. When I'm doing projects, things get moved around. Do you guys do that when you're working on projects? You just move things around. You know, it's like I'll work upstairs for a little while. I'll work downstairs for a little while. It depends on the dogs. They don't like to be down in the basement that much. Only one does. One doesn't like it down here at all. She'll come visit and be out of here because she's got to be by a window. There has to be a window, so she doesn't like it. So that is a quick little easy Christmas present or just a wall decor for you guys self. Just remember, you can take your flat backs and use your acrylic markers and change the color anytime you want. And you get this snow and you can even add this. I've done it to Christmas cards. I have videos on that. I've done this on Christmas cards. And it goes a long, long way if you get that. Let me add this all down there because I don't get my hands on anything else again. And bring this other one back down. And cute. So what do you guys think of this little easy Christmas project? These I think would make really, really cute Christmas gifts. Now you can put a pattern paper on the back. I haven't decided yet because I might actually, I have some really nice decals too I might put on the back. But you can just write on the back. You can paint the back. You can put paper on the back. I'm going to leave mine until I know who I'm giving each one to and decide what I want to do on the back. Depends. I might be silly with one of them because depending on who I give it to. Like my sister. I might be more serious on the back depending on who I give it to. You know. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you have any questions, let me know. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.